What's poppin', y'all? Ooh, I'm loving the run that Pusha is going on right now, man. And this video is going to come in two parts. The second part is when I had just heard the snippet and I thought he was dissing Ye. So that'll be at the end. Those are my initial thoughts because he started off dissing Ye in the first installment of the GQ interview. It seems like they're drip feeding us the interviews because he had a previous GQ interview where he's going in on Ye. So when he drops that Calabasas bar, I was thinking, okay, well, he's coming at Ye then because he's lost his wife or his girl. But come to find out, in the new GQ interview, he's talking about none other than Travis Scott. And I was like, whoa, that's a little bit, I didn't really think he would go for Travis. But we're going to talk about that. So the end of this video, the second part, it'll be highlighted if you want to hear my initial thoughts on it. But this is the updated once I knew that he was dissing Travis. So the context for this came when it was in relation to the song Meltdown. So Meltdown had a Drake verse on it in 2023 on Utopia, and that's where he talks about, melting all of P's chains. He's talking about Skateboard P, a.k.a. Pharrell, who has been locked in with Pusha for the better part of 2 decades. And bars were thrown at Pusha too. So Drake is dissing both Pusha and Pharrell. And then it's so funny because I'm going to play you guys this short clip. It'll be on screen where Pharrell is, they're referencing this exact situation. So that video clip, everyone's looking at it so much differently now. They're like, man, they couldn't wait for that guy to get out of there. And then Pusha T tells the story and says, the true context of that is we were in Paris, literally working, and he was calling to play P, his new album, Pharrell. He came to Pharrell's studio at Louis Vuitton HQ, where Clipse recorded most of Let God Sort Him Out. He interrupted a session, Pusha recalled. He sees me and Malice there. He's like, oh man, everybody's here. He's smiling, laughing, jumping around, doing his effing monkey dance. We weren't into the music, but he wanted to play it. Wanted to film, us and Pharrell listening to it. And then a week later, you hear Meltdown, which he didn't play. He played the song, but not Drake's verse. Keep in mind, a lot of people were coming out with information afterwards, academics being one of them, who got the information from someone else, and that Meltdown Drake's verse wasn't prepared until 24 hours before the song dropped. That's not the point, and that doesn't change anything with Pusha T being upset about it. Because you played that song for them, and then you still put a guy dissing them on the song at the last minute. So it's completely up to Travis Scott. It's sucker move by Travis Scott, regardless of how it came out, whether he hit it while he was playing them the song, or if he just added it after. It doesn't make any type of a difference for why people should be upset. And then he goes to say that he doesn't hold Travis to any standard because as he sees it, Travis has a pattern of remaining conveniently neutral when it suits him. This is a fact. Travis Scott is a corporation, and as such, he behaves just like a corporation. He's done this a lot. He has no picks. He'll do this with anybody. He did it with Sicko Mode, on which Ye, where he's talking about spend out the block, made a right, Hidden Hills, where he's coming at Ye, basically. And then Like That, when he was telling them to play Like That when he was cool with Drake, and Like That is a diss towards Drake. He was like, yo, y'all play that at the festival stage. He was on the Rolling Loud stage, like, play that, play that. He don't have no picks, no loyalty to nobody. He'll jump around whatever he feels is hot or cling on to whatever he feels is hot. But you can play those games with those people. We're not in your mix. Keep your mix over there. And then he says, I personally have been removed from that crew and those people for a minute. And he's talking about Ye and good music. So that's where my issue comes in. Like, dog, don't even come over here with that. Because at the end of the day, I don't play how y'all play. To me, that really was just like, he's a or. And then it says, print can't do justice to the disdain in Pusha's delivery here. Like, it was probably the best ad-lib from Pusha T you could probably mention for this situation is, ugh. Like, he's just disgust. And I totally understand it. If this guy's and this is the thing. Travis has been behaving like this for the better part of almost 13 years. Before he even got on, 13, 14 years. But nobody really says anything. If anybody does say something, they're usually people that are quickly dismissed because they don't make music or they're not as popular. And they're attempting to do the same thing to Pusha here. But so much of it has just accumulated over time that I think Pusha brought it forward at the right time. I've already dealt with the lack of loyalty to his mentor, the guy he looks up to. I've been dealing with this corny ish that goes along with them. So it's like, I'm in a whole nother place. Don't bring that over to my house. I just wanted you to have that true context, man. And honestly, Frazier, you gotta realize, I've really been in Paris. I've really been making my joints. I've really been doing this. When these people mention me, they're really going out of their way. What have I done besides wear clothes, bro, in the past couple of years? It's like these people are going out of their way. Somebody brought Meltdown to my house, to P's house, actually. I mean, I don't give a F. P don't give a damn. But it's like, it's the principle of it. It's the principle of what I'm saying. That filthy quality that they have about themselves, that lack of loyalty. Travis really has that. He's proven. I just named 3 people that he does that type of behavior with. I'm just not one of them. Dog, I ain't with that. This ish ain't coming out of nowhere. Bro, I be cool with all these guys. Everybody you mentioned today, bro, I promise you they did the underhanded weird ish. And then they get the heat check. Always. It always comes. And then he also did an interview clip video with the New York Times, which I'm going to play you guys right now. I'm going to cut out the songs or the song clips.
He's shameless. It all came from actually being in Paris. It came through carrying the, the Utopia briefcase.
Right. Yep.
Doing his whole spiel.
Mm-hmm.
He comes, he interrupts the session. The next day, the Meltdown verse or whatever comes on.
Drake on Travis Scott talking about melting
P,
Pharrell's jewelry.
and all of that. Yeah. That was a corny, like, you shouldn't have been here anyway. Him specifically too. I don't take it as personal as I should. It's Travis. He's harmless. I'm not into his whole makeup. I took it there. And then to to come back in our fold.
To make a point of...
Yeah, to invade the fold and then, do all that he did. It was like, man, that was corny. He's shameless. He does it. You've seen him do it to everybody. I've definitely had to put my hand on your shoulder before. You died in front of me. You cried in front of me. Calabasas took your bitch and your pride in front of me. I had to help you. People take that type of shit for granted. I don't take that for granted. So be it.
I love this. I love everything about this. Anybody and this is the lamest thing, you are whack if you're saying, yo, this guy's got to diss a popular person again to get his album in motion. He's got a personal issue with him, and he's putting it on a track. Like, do you guys... Is that suddenly not hip-hop, beefing with somebody or dissing somebody directly that you've got issues with on a track? So we're not doing that anymore. What are we making? Like party music, like Super Duper Kyle and Lil Yachty when they first got in the game, Kumbaya kindergarten music to play for kids at their first day of school? Like, get the hell out of here, man. Well, what are we talking about? I like the fact that he's coming at Travis. Now, this opens the door for other people that got issues with Travis to throw disses at him, too. The video clip is just crazy because he just said, like, yo, I don't care about Travis. He's harmless, which is kind of a fact. But the way that he delivered it is just, oh, my goodness. And if you guys also recall, T-Pain even had an issue with Travis. And he didn't try to get really confrontational and aggressive about it because T-Pain's just not that kind of guy, and he didn't want that. I don't want to say he didn't want that smoke because T-Pain doesn't stand on anything. I'm saying that T-Pain didn't want to create a situation, and he said Travis Scott pulled up to their studio and was blasting it at the loudest, as loud as the speakers could go, and then he just blew a couple of speakers, didn't pay for anything. It was a lot of damages, thousands of dollars in damages, and he just kept it pushing. He's just this Fortnite character that just gets to walk around and do whatever he wants. And he did it with the wrong one. And all of this just makes me like Pusha T more and more. Now, I've been a Pusha T supporter since I was a kid. More so the Clipse. And I grew up a little bit by the time his solo career came into play. But somebody right now that's willing to do this hip-hop thing and willing to rap and willing to put it on the track with people that he's got issues with, and it's facts, not just grasping at straws. I don't see any type of problem with that. I actually think everyone that messes with hip-hop should be supporting this. You gotta at least check it out. You don't have to like the music, which the music is still great, but you gotta show love to what these guys got going on right now. It's It's beautiful. It brings a smile to my face. And we know what the hell is Travis going to do. What is he going to do? Diss back? Come on. He's going to have to get, who was the guy that made No Dope on Sundays? Sci-Hi to Prince. He's going to have Sci-Hi to Prince write a verse or something to get back at him. I do think some conflict could help Travis Scott, though. Like, he just drops like a bar here and there. Travis Scott has been absent of a hit for quite a while. He's been trying to catch one, but it just hasn't caught. Like 4x4, they really tried to make that a hit. I enjoyed the song. I thought it was a great song with a great music video and a great concept. It just didn't stick. And most of what's Travis and Cardi are almost like an unofficial duo like Huncho Jack was, except they are way better than Huncho Jack. Actually, well, the Huncho Jack project was just doing too much. But I would say Huncho and Cactus Jack, or in this case, Huncho and Travis Scott and Quavo had some good tracks. I wouldn't necessarily say that they were worse than Cardi and Travis. I don't know. I don't know the actual outcome of that. But I think that might be, it might be time to segue to my initial thoughts when this first came out in real time. Man, if there's somebody that knows how to ride off of beef to get some of the best album sales that they've ever got, it is Pusha T. He did it after the Drake beef. Granted that most of that album was with Ye, and it's post-Drake beef. And then It's Almost Dry. That was a great project overall. But now the comeback of the Clipse, they've got a Pharrell-produced record on here, who Pharrell, he's got issues with Ye. Ye's had issues with Pharrell. Ye's been jealous of anybody because Pharrell got the job at LV, which Ye has always wanted. Same thing with Virgil. When Virgil got the job at LV, Ye wanted that job, and he was really jealous about it. And he was dissing Virgil, had issues with Virgil, and even like in post-death, after the man died of cancer, he was still going in on Virgil, which just shows you like that is quite disgusting, especially because you met Virgil's family, like that was your man's, and this is all about a job because you felt like Virgil had to, like Ye just didn't want to see somebody surpass him. But with this new project, one of the bars on here is none other than "You cried in front of me, you died in front of me. Calabasas took your chick and your pride in front of me." Ooh, that's gotta hurt. This is all off the heels of a Roc Nation listening party where we got several snippets. We got a premiere by Funk Flex, which just really takes us back. And we also got DJ Head playing one of the songs as well on his Instagram Live. It's like 150-something people. But they knew that it would spread. So they had the listening party, and at the listening party was none other than Peter Rosenberg, who put out a tweet saying, "The Clipse album is very intentional, pointed, and heartfelt, and Pharrell just crushes. It is as personal a record as I've heard from them. And while the Kendrick record is fire, I don't think the most oh shoot bars on the album are directed where you might guess. Raps are back, baby." Now, a lot of people felt like, because the news was coming out that UMG, Def Jam, which is under UMG, did not want a Kendrick verse because, and they even said that there weren't any bars directed towards Drake because they were going through this lawsuit. So what happened was that they decided not to agree with Def Jam's wishes and remove Kendrick. And what the Clipse did was that they went to Roc Nation, or they got dropped. Now the story changed a little bit. It started off with they got dropped, and then it went on to saying that Pusha had to pay 7 figures or plus to buy out of the contract to be able to take the project elsewhere. And these are two different stories that have a world of a difference between them, because Pusha, like I said, Pusha T, he has a lot that he owes Ye for his solo career. Granted, in my previous video that I did on Pusha T, I did 2 between him and Ye. We're not going to get too deep into that. You can check those out in the pinned comment, and they'll be at the end screen at the end of the video. But Pusha, he felt like he was just disgusted by Ye. He felt like Ye was using him, and he felt like he didn't respect Ye as a man anymore. And the energy was different when he would come out, and he felt like people were talking, or he was told that people were talking about him behind his back, and he thought he was boys with Ye, but he felt some betrayal there. So what surprise is it if Kendrick Lamar disses Ye on a Pusha T Clipse album. That would be crazy. And this might be a lot of people getting together to destroy Ye. So a lot of people think that this might be aiming at Drake because of the Kendrick feature. And I do think they tried to roll it out that way to get as much attention as possible. But this might be one of the most industry albums of the year. Number one, Roc Nation. It doesn't get more industry than that. They send it over to DJ Head, who is Kendrick Lamar's pretty much spokesperson, and he's playing it. They know that's going to spread everywhere. But they also gave it to Funk Flex. And this kind of gets not the old head audience. It gets the old head audience. Why am I trying to mince words here? It brings back that feeling that Prime Clipse, as well as even Prime Pusha, had with Ye. Like, they would premiere clips on Funk Flex at that time, too. Like, those Good Fridays when that was happening. Funk Flex was always dropping bombs on those things. And I think when it wasn't Yeezus, I don't know if it was Yeezus or Watch the Throne. It might have been both, where Flex was premiering some track. I think Ham was first premiered on Funk Flex, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going off the top of my head. And then you've got people like Rosenberg, obviously, giving it its review. And some people are saying, like, yo, nobody's going to care about this in 2 weeks. And that's possible. But the reason why I think, like, this might be completely towards Ye is because we already got bars where he's coming at Ye. And Ye having his wife taken from him by Calabasas. He's referring to Kim Kardashian there. So that's a soft spot. He didn't talk about his kids from what I've heard thus far. But it's clear he's getting grimy with it. On top of that, Ye was hating on Kendrick Lamar. So last year, he tried to hop on the Like That remix that nobody wanted him on to hop in the battle and diss Drake because he felt like they were getting too much attention. So what happened after that? That song didn't really pan out. Kendrick just kind of ignored it. And then Ye decides to start switching up. So he's talking about how great Drake is, and then he's dissing Kendrick Lamar. He's like, yo, who really listens to Kendrick Lamar? He was dissing Drake, or J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar, just trashing them the past year, saying that Kendrick Lamar is just bolstered by the industry, and it's because they don't want Ye to succeed, and just making it about himself as per usual. In the midst of that, he was also talking about Pusha T and Pharrell. Like, talking about, like, Pusha T betrayed me, this and that, all this cap. When Pusha T is like, anyone that I've spoken to that's had dealings with Pusha T for over a decade even, have said he's nothing but solid. But Ye, the person that always has falling outs with people, yeah, Pusha T betrayed you. I'm not buying that one. And then there's Jay-Z. So if you guys recall, Ye went on one of his long rants and really viciously dissed Jay-Z's kids, his twins, and he called them etards. You know, that word, one of my favorite words, but can't use it on here. I don't know if I can use it on here. We're just going to play it safe. And it took him a while, but then he eventually tried to apologize and come back. But I knew Jay-Z was not going to forgive him for that. And I did a video on that as well. And I talked about how, like, this is something that's unforgivable. Like, that's your man's, or that was your man's at one point. He offered you opportunity. You guys worked together. It was just quite disgusting to see Ye in that manner. But he's trying to grovel for an apology. And this spurred my tweet where I said the following. Kanye disses Jay-Z's children. Jay-Z, I believe he bought out. I believe it's Jay-Z and Roc Nation that bought Pusha T and Malice, the Clipse, out of the contract with Def Jam and brought them over to Roc Nation. Because it's very, very rare that you see an artist buy themselves out of their situation when there's another offer. And there's a lot of hype for a Clipse reunion. Like, Malice was gone for a decade. People thought Malice was done for good because he went on more of like a spiritual, religious, Christian path and said he wanted to leave that music behind. So there are other labels that were probably willing to buy them out of the deal with UMG and bring that album to their label. And who better than Jay-Z and Roc Nation? They've got money. They've brought people out of other deals before, like the Megan Thee Stallion. They got her out of, or they tried to get her out of 1501, and that turned into a whole lawsuit that got sticky. with Generation Now, they just ended up managing Lil Uzi Vert, I think. So that's a different story than releasing the music through there. The Clipse music is actually being released through Roc Nation. And the most recent song, Ace Trumpets, that was an official release. That's at like 2.8 million streams. So it's really not streaming that crazy. Right now, I do think the album will do well. I think they're going to bring out all the stops. But I continue on and say, Jay-Z has Pusha T dissing Ye on his new album, and who knows who else is coming at Ye. And the album was probably prepared before Jay got involved, but you've got Pusha T, you've got Pharrell producing on there, you've got Kendrick Lamar. If Kendrick Lamar has bars for Ye, I think that is ambitious of him to try and come at Ye, but this is the time to come at Ye. When he doesn't really have the industry on his side, he doesn't have many collaborators, he doesn't have many people working together. Drake is really not trying to tap in with him right now, although if these people all come together to attack, and these are all Ye's former, just like, guys, like Jay, Pusha, not necessarily No Malice, but Jay, Pusha, Pharrell, and we might get some bars about Virgil on there too, I don't know. And I said, Jay really moves in silence. And this is a power move. Jay-Z doesn't have to say anything. But Jay-Z's definitely not going to let something like this slide from Ye. And he's definitely not going to forgive him. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Jay never spoke to Ye ever again for the rest of their lives. Because he doesn't really have much to benefit from Ye right now. Like, yeah, sure, Ye is rich, but so is Jay. What chokehold does Ye have right now that he didn't have in the early 2010s when they got together for Watch the Throne? Now, towards the late 2010s as well, Ye had it on lock, but I would say like post Donda, he doesn't have it on lock like that. Not musically or culturally. Like Jay's got a handle on the Super Bowl. Like once you get that, it doesn't really matter. But I'm looking forward to this album mainly because of this. So it's being alluded to by Peter Rosenberg that Kendrick Lamar has some bars for Ye. Because there's no way he's saying, oh, albums aren't directed at where you might guess. There's no way that we're guessing Pusha T's still dissing Drake. Like, he left that behind a long time ago. So coming for Ye is something different. I don't know if Ye can handle beef. Rap beef, that is. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.